Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram at Candy Washington. Let's go!
Hello everyone and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington, and we are going to have a fun kiki catching up on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Dubai. It is season 1, episode 10, Girl Trippin, and the girls were trippin'. So we are going to get into it. But before we start our fun kiki, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live, and share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. And over here, our candy canes, we keep it light, we keep it poppin', we're happy, we're having some fun. So as you come in, say hello, drop your candy cane, drop your questions. Hey Darren, what is up, sweetheart? How are you? What's up, sweetie? And we're gonna get into it. And you guys know that my Real Housewives recaps, they're not really recaps or reviews. I really just see what the girls are doing and I analyze it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to analyze it. So let's dive in. First up, Sergio and Caroline Stanberry. I have been saying this since day one. And I say this with respect, because again, I know my position. It's never my place to speculate or to assert that I know someone's sexuality that they do not identify as. So I want to be respectful when I say this. However, I'm going to comment on what I see. And based on what I see, I stand by the fact that I think that Sergio wants to be Caroline Stanberry. I think that she represents the energy, person, whatever, identity that he really would long to be. I think he loves the lifestyle. I think he loves the money. I think he loves all of it. But on a totally different level, like not just a sugar daddy, sugar baby, sugar mama situation, but I mean on like a gut soul level. I think he really wants to be Caroline Stanberry. And the fact that he, Caroline Brooks I'm sorry. Chanel said during the dinner when they all went away that she saw Sergio crying on Instagram because Caroline had gone on the girls' trip. To me, that is really weird. It's bizarre. It's unhealthy. It's giving me like slasher killer vibes, stalker vibes, unhealthy attachment vibes. The fact that he never lets her do anything on her own. Like he is always there. He's in the confessionals. He went to her first hen party that she had, which is supposed to just be all the girls. And he was there and he made it co-ed because he wanted to go. And then we saw in the clip of what's coming up, he's like crashing the party. He's like coming in on his little jet ski thing or whatever. And I'm just sort of like, dude, what is up? Like, what's really good? Like, that's scary. Like, it's not cute. It's not funny. It's not a stunt. Like, it's really, really scary. And when I say I think he wants to be her, it's like, do you guys ever see that movie Psycho? It's Alfred Hitchcock. When the son... the mother dies and the son like assumes the mother's identity and like dresses up as his mother and like talks like her and like wears her skin. Like that is the vibe that Sergio is giving me with Caroline Stanberry. Like it's scary, it's spooky, it's unhealthy. And I stand by the fact, I've said this since day one and now it's clear. I think Sergio in some way in his mind, in his psyche, he actually wants to, I think if he could live his truth, he would express himself like Caroline Stanberry. But I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that there. That's how I feel about that. Now, let's get into Miss Brooks. Okay. Miss Brooks. Okay. again, her story doesn't make sense to me. It's not mathing, it's not logical. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on, and let's dive into it. So, Brooks has been very triggered by a couple of things. She's triggered when Sarah was talking about her parenting style. She's triggered if you talk about her ex-husband or anything that goes on with that, or with her business. However, she, in every single episode, is the one bringing up what happened with her child, bringing up what happened with her ex. Like, the fact that she brought up during the 3 lies and a truth, that her 2 truths that she wanted to share with the world was that her ex-boyfriend cheated on her and she got a multi-million-dollar settlement. So if that is actually true, then that's where the money's really coming from, this multi-million-dollar settlement. But I thought she was saying that she's got herself up by her bootstraps and started some real estate business with her friend and all of this stuff. So which is it? Did you get your money from this real estate business with your friend, or did you get your money from this multi-million-dollar settlement with your ex who cheated on you, who you're now is saying is your alleged investor in your new business? That doesn't make sense. And then the other thing she said was, quite proudly, that she was sleeping with a married man. He was like a president-elect. And I guess it was the president-elect or like the governor or some type of like very high title of a guy in Kenya. She was going to be like, Miss President's wife of Kenya. However, the technicality is that he actually already had a wife. So I'm really confused as to how Brooks has all of this smoke for anyone who questions what she talks about with her ex-husband and with this boyfriend and this alleged settlement and this alleged all this stuff, and how she has all of this, trauma and pain from what she went through with her ex-husband and all of this stuff, and she can't trust and, blah, 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 blah. A governor in Kenya, exactly. Hey, Randa, exactly. A governor in Kenya who was already married. So you want us to have all this empathy for you. You have all the smoke for us when we question your shady stories. But yet you want to get on this episode and proudly say that you were sleeping with a married man and you were ready to step into the wife role. But however, oops, my bad, that role is already taken by his actual wife. And miss me with any type of they were separated. Miss me with any type of she knew it was an open relationship. You did not clarify any of that during this episode where you dropped that bomb. You stood in it very proudly. Like, yeah, I was sleeping with a married man. I'm that girl, I'm that chick. But yet in the next breath, you want to, cry like you're in this horrible place because of everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't pick both. You can't be a victim and a perpetrator. Pick a lane, Brooks. Pick a lane. You can't be a victim and a perpetrator. You can't be out here flagrantly talking about you sleep with married men. And don't get me wrong, there are situations where people are still legally, technically married, but they're separated. Each person is doing their own thing. Maybe the divorce is coming. Maybe it's whatever. It's a situation. Some people have open marriages. Don't get me wrong. I understand situations and I understand circumstances. But you didn't explain any situation. You didn't explain any circumstance. You just came out here like you were loud and proud that you were busting it wide open and your legs were open to a married man. But yet you want to boohoo and cry about what your husband put you through. You can't be a victim and a perpetrator, Brooks. You got to pick a side. Doesn't make any sense. And again, I want to know more about this ex-boyfriend and your settlement that you got for him cheating on you. And I want to know for like my own personal, like if I can get a multi-million-dollar settlement from a boyfriend, I need to know what you did. Can you give me your like attorney's information? Can you send me the template of the contract? Like, is it Dubai law? Like, how did you manage to get a multi-million-dollar settlement from a man that you were not married to? Like, what are the legalities of that? Like, what did you have on him? Because I'm going to be honest, it sounds more like you had something on him and you extorted the money. Because I think logically, and I think about people always act, it's human nature, and people always act within their best interest. So I do not think your ex-boyfriend gave you a multi-million-dollar settlement out of the kindness of his heart because he felt bad that he cheated on you. If he felt bad for cheating on you, he wouldn't have cheated on you in the first place. So is this whole I got a multi-million-dollar settlement from my ex-boyfriend, is that just the narrative because maybe you knew something about him and you extorted the money? Because to me, people do million-dollar settlements when they're trying to keep something hidden. And it's not that you're keeping the infidelity hidden because you're saying that, oh, I got this settlement because he cheated on me. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? In Dubai, I think it's legal for men to have multiple wives. And trust me, I'm by no means disrespecting or trying to clown any religion, any culture. Absolutely not. I respect all religions. I respect all cultures. Regardless if I personally believe in it, doesn't matter. I still respect it. What I am saying is, I don't think your story makes sense at all. I don't believe you with what you're saying, what happened with your ex-husband. I think there's a lot more going on that you're not saying, and that's not happening. Because again, I just don't understand going in business in any way, shape, or form with a man that you alleged left you and your child homeless. And this is not me shading you. This is not me making this up. This is what you tweeted to me. I don't get that. I mean, unless it's a self-esteem thing where you kind of want to like prove you're still trying to prove your worth to this man. Like, look where I am now. You left me and our child homeless, but look where I am now. Now I'm paying you. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's that, but that doesn't really make any sense either, right? It doesn't make sense. And then you're saying that the guy who gave you a multi-million-dollar settlement for cheating on you is now investing in your company. But I guess she said he like pulled out after a little bit or something like that. Like, I don't really care. But again, that doesn't make sense. What did you have on him? What dirt did you have on him? That sounds like extortion. That does not sound like I had a cheating contract. Like, this is not Cynthia and Real Housewives of Atlanta having a friendship contract. No. If you are going to look me in my face through the television, if you're going to get on television and play in our faces and expect us to believe that a man gave you multi-millions of dollars because he cheated on you, you're going to piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. I'm calling BS. I don't buy it. Did you have dirt on him? Did you have dirt on his businesses? Did you have dirt on his business partners? Did you have dirt on how he got his money, how he keeps his money? Did you have that type of dirt where he paid you off? That sounds like a payoff, not a settlement. We're not stupid, Brooks. None of it makes sense. None of it. Right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Randa. What's up, sweetheart? She goes, she's blaming her tough exterior on the fact that she had a failed relationships and was treated badly. That's the case, most of it, if not all humans. Exactly. And let me tell you, from what it looked like and sounded like, it sounds like they both were toxic people. It sounds like they both were probably fussing and fighting. And by fighting, I don't mean physical, because there's been no allegations of physical abuse, so I'm not trying to put that on anybody. But from what it sounds like, they both were hell on wheels. Look at Brooks now. Brooks will pop off in a moment. You know what I mean? Like, they were literally picking their rooms, and all of a sudden, she popped off on Chanel. I mean, get it, Chanel is annoying as heck when it comes to her being up Lisa's butt. Did I agree with Brooks? 100%. But the timing was weird. It was just like, yeah, Chanel's annoying. She's always up Brooks' butt. But, like, is your response to this appropriate to the offense? You see what I'm saying? Was Brooks right? Yes. Was it at the right moment? Questionable. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes any sense. None of it does. And she brings it up every single episode. So it's like, if you're so, you know, sensitive around this, if you're so triggered around it, keep your mouth shut. Stop talking about it. And each time she tells a story, it changes a little bit because I don't think it's true. I think your ex-boyfriend probably paid you off because you knew too much. And I think that there is more to the story with your ex-husband than you're telling us. Either I think you guys were both probably toxic for each other and maybe some other stuff going on. But I'm going to be honest, it doesn't seem like, and maybe he's in the child's life now, maybe he wasn't then, I don't know the timeline. But given the fact that you're filming with him and given the fact that it's clear that he is active, and it seemed to me, again, based on what you show us, that that her ex-husband has been active in the son's life, right? So again, are you this single parent that you're making yourself out to be? I don't know. Let's see. Hey, Darren, after watching that scene with Caroline Stanbury and Sergio, things are becoming more weirder about him. I told you guys, go back. I mean, I called it. Hey, Miss T. Yeah, she says, hey, Candy and the Candy Canes. Hey, sweetheart. I called it. I told you. I said, Sergio gives me vibe that he wants to be Caroline. I think it's a psychological thing. I think that if he could express himself in his true state, it would be something like a Caroline Stanbury. Like he dyed his hair blonde to match hers. He has to be with her 24/7. It's getting weird. It's getting really creepy, and he seems obsessed. It's an obsession, but I don't think it's a sexual obsession. I think it's an identity obsession. You know, like, you ever see the movie like Single White Female? He's giving me single white female vibes. You know? Yeah. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Randa. So a married man is cheating on his mistress with another mistress and you got millions. Okay, that makes sense. Exactly. I'm sorry, Brooks. You seem like a cool girl in like a general way, but none of your stories make sense and the math is not mathing. It's not. I think there's more to the story with your ex-husband than you're telling us. I think he's been more involved in your child's life than what you're saying based on what we've seen. And based on the fact that you're willing to go into business with him in any type of way, I'm sorry, but anybody with an ounce of anything is not going into business with someone who left them and their child homeless. I just don't believe it. I don't buy it. How do you trust him? In any sense, whether you're paying him or he's paying you, doesn't matter. It's weird. It's bizarre. Also, I think that your multi-millions you got from your ex was a payout, not a settlement. Hush money. What's really good. And also, you being so brazen about the fact that you're sleeping with a married man, girl, bye. The sympathy we did have is now gone. The empathy we did have is now gone. Because how are you going to cry foul when somebody does it to you and you turn around and do it to another woman? And the way you talked about it on the show, you were proud. Zero remorse. And I'm not talking, I'm talking about the way the energy you brought talking about it. That's what I have an issue with. Not a morality, yes, but the energy you gave, because we all make mistakes. We all get in situations. This, that, and the third can happen. But the fact that you showed zero remorse and zero care about how the wife may have felt told us everything we needed to know. Everything we needed to know. Hey, Miss T, Brooks acts like she made the money on her own for real estate. Really? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would respect the game way more if you actually came honest and correct. If you actually became honest and correct. Nobody is believing that you had a cheating contract with your ex-husband and that's why he gave you millions of dollars. If he was going to give you millions of dollars because he felt bad for cheating, he wouldn't have cheated on you in the first place. If he actually respected you. That's hush money, baby. That's hush money. Like, don't play in our faces. Please don't play in our faces. Hey, Miss T, I think Brooks is still getting money from her ex-husband. Clearly, he is still in her son's life. Thank you. Exactly. I think she got the big hush money payout from her ex. And I think that her ex-husband is still giving her money 1,000%. And he is clearly still in the son's life, and it seems like has been in the son's life. You're sitting up here doing a scene together, all cute and cordial, grabbing coffee, talking about PTA meetings. Girl, bye. Miss me. And and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why that particular narrative bothers me so much is because I grew up with an actual single mother. There's actual single parents. And when you have an actual single parent, the other parent is literally non-existent. That is what it means to be a single parent. Co-parenting is not being a single parent. And it irks me when people are out here who are co-parenting and they act like they're single parents. You're not a single parent. Single means one. Just you showing up emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially for your children or your child. That is a single parent. This stuff that Brooke is doing, playing in our face, is not being a single parent, Brooke. It's not. And that's why I get so hyped about it. It's insane. Hey, Randa, Chanel shenanigans are just that, shenanigans, 100%. I can see why she can be annoying at times, but a lot of what she does and more has to do with her fighting the negative dialogue she has internally. Yes, we are going to get into that. But that's a good segue to shift into, let's talk about Chanel's trauma. Because I told you guys from jump, Chanel is deeply, deeply insecure. And her whole, I'm the best, I'm amazing, period, dot, this whole, shenanigans, showboating, it's all for show. It's all BS. It's not coming from a place of true self-love. It's coming from a place of fronting. It's coming from a place of pretend. It's coming from a place of insecurity and lack. And that's why you see her having these irrational moments that we're going to get into. Hey, Randa, she does, and it's clear from what she does that she didn't. Exactly. Hey, Miss T, that book said the boyfriend cheated and had to pay her, not the ex-husband. She got nothing from the ex-husband. Okay. Yes. If I wasn't clear, she said that her ex-boyfriend cheated on her and she got $1 million payout. BS. No one's going to cheat on you and then pay you $1 million. They're going to cheat on you because they're going to cheat on you, and they're going to pay you $1 million to keep you quiet because you probably know too much about their business, maybe family dealings, maybe their money situation, maybe something like that. So what I am saying is that her narrative that her ex-boyfriend paid her millions of dollars because he cheated on her is a front. I think he paid her millions of dollars to keep her quiet. She probably knew too much. He probably cheated on her and pissed her off, and he paid her off to keep her quiet. That's what I think. And then secondly, she's claiming that she got nothing from the ex-husband. Again, I don't believe that. I don't believe that the ex-husband just plopped her and the son off, and all of a sudden now, they're in a place where they can now do business, and, she can hire him as her business contract person. Now she can, meet for him with coffee and talk about PTA meetings, because it was very clear that the father has been in the son's life, and it's very clear that it seems like the husband still has been benefiting, has still been giving Caroline some money, whether it's child support, whether it's spousal support, whether it's just a, hey, let me throw you something so we don't have to do the courts type of situation. So I'm calling BS on her stories. Like, I just don't think that she got out of that marriage and was homeless with her child, and all of a sudden she thinks it's a good idea to go in business with a man who left you and your child homeless. I just don't believe it. And then she says all this stuff about how she got all her money from real estate. I'm like, did you? Or did you get the money from the multi-million-dollar payout? And if you have all this real estate money, why do you need your ex-boyfriend to invest? And why are you working with your ex-husband? Like the math doesn't math. It doesn't make sense. Hey, Miss T, I wish Chanel would share different aspects of her culture. Me too. 100%. Because we were talking about this before. Chanel Chanel is like a walking pain body, and she always talks through her trauma. Always. Like, even when she talks about her culture, oh, we have goats, and I was engaged to my cousin, and blah 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 blah, and my husband bought me for $1,000, the white man from Idaho or whatever it is, right? It's like, this whole white savior thing that she does, and like kind of like pokes fun at her culture with the goats and all of this stuff, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. But let's get into Chanel and her. Okay, Rana. Rana says, I'm willing to give Chanel more grace than Brooke. Chanel had a pretty bad childhood, and despite that, she is not mean-spirited. I also don't think she is fronting. I think it's her way of coping. I agree. I agree 100% with that. 1,000% with that. So let's get into Chanel's trauma. So we all know that because Chanel has spoken on her childhood trauma with like, she said like her father beat her and like he favored, I think, her sister over her and all of these things. I don't know all of the ins and outs of it, and I want to be respectful to that because I don't ever want it to come across as if I'm being flippant about somebody's trauma, how big or small or whatever the case may be. I'm not being flippant about that, and it's something to really respect and hold space for. But we clearly see that Chanel is a walking pain body. She has not resolved any of that trauma, and the way she shows up, you see it so much. The over-the-top outfits, the superlatives, I'm the best, bit is da-da-da-da-da, but it's not rooted in authenticity. The being codependent with Lisa. That is a classic codependent relationship, right? That is the Giselle and a Robin. That is a Rose and Whitney, right? Or no, Whitney and Heather, right? Classic codependent relationship. And I'm going to tell you why that has played into why Lisa and Nina are no longer close. Because like Lisa has said on a couple of episodes, last episode and the episode before, how her and Nina used to be close. And she's like, oh, you know, now me and Nina aren't close anymore because she was threatened by me and Chanel's friendship. And I don't think that Nina was threatened by Chanel. I don't think she was threatened by Chanel and Lisa's friendship. I think Nina did a couple of things. One, I think Nina is being strategic. And to be honest, the Real Housewives of Dubai, Carolyn Stanberry was actually supposed to be the anchor of the show. Of course, things come out different. We have our different favors now, but Carolyn Stanberry actually used to be on a Bravo show called Ladies of London, which is basically like the Real Housewives of London. Think that. So Carolyn Stanberry has been a part of Bravo for years. I watched every single episode of Ladies of London, so I know exactly who Carolyn Stanberry is. I think that Nina was strategically getting an alliance with Carolyn Stanberry because, truth be told, Carolyn Stanberry was supposed to be the anchor of Dubai. That's why when you watch the very first episode and they tell you who's connected to who, they make it so who's connected to Carolyn Stanberry, because Carolyn Stanberry was actually supposed to be the anchor of the show for Dubai. So I think Nina was like, I'm going to make myself an allegiance with the person who is the anchor of the show. Because it's like I'm going to be an anchor to a Nene. I'm going to be an anchor to a Vicky. I'm going to be an anchor to Kyle, right? I'm going to anchor myself with the person who's supposed to be the anchor of the show, because that can help me stay on the show, get a better edit, X, Y, and Z, right? So I think that is more why Nina was putting herself together more with Carolyn Stanberry. And also, I don't think she's threatened by the friendship, but Lisa and Chanel are annoying as hell. I don't get why people are like standing so hard for Chanel. I don't get it. They're annoying as hell. Chanel is always up Lisa's butt. Their relationship is super codependent. It's very childlike in a way. Like, they're annoying. And I'm sure Nina just can't be bothered with being annoyed by it. It's literally just annoying. 100%. It's really just annoying. And I think that's what it is. I don't think anybody is jealous of Lisa and Chanel's friendship. No. I think Nina was being strategic. And she put her bet on Carolyn Stanberry. And I think she probably was just annoyed. And people are also saying, like, Lisa behind the scenes is very fake. She's very this, that, and the third. More drama is coming out. So maybe more stuff is happening, why their relationship kind of weren't as close. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out with that. But yeah, but then also when it comes to Chanel's trauma, that's another reason why I think that Lisa and Chanel have gotten closer than Nina, because I think Lisa in a friendship dynamic needs to be the alpha, right? And I think a friendship dynamic between Nina and Lisa, she would not be the alpha in that particular dynamic. The way she is the alpha with Chanel, because Chanel is definitely the beta to Lisa. Whereas I feel Nina plays beta to Caroline, but she plays beta because she has a higher strategy of, I'm going to play beta to Caroline Stanbury because I want to anchor myself to the person who got the show going. You see what I'm saying? So I think Nina's just being strategic. I don't think she's jealous of Lisa and Chanel. To be honest, to me, Lisa and Chanel are kind of annoying together. It's too much. And I do really like Lisa, but I agree with Brooks. How much Chanel is up Lisa's butt does get very cumbersome, if you know what I mean. It's very, very, very cumbersome. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. My candy canes. Hey, Miss T, Chanel missed the whole point of what Caroline was trying to say. Exactly. Chanel got triggered. And I'll tell you why she got triggered. And like the girls in the confessional, they're like, we don't know why Chanel got so upset. She just got really upset. And it's like, she got upset because she's deeply insecure about who she is and she lacks any type of sense of self. Chanel has no idea who she is and she has zero sense of self. She gets her identity out of, my white husband came and saved me from Kenya. I am up Lisa's butt. Lisa is amazing. Lisa, and it's the only three people who are better than me is Lisa, Beyonce, and Rihanna. Like, girl, miss me with that crap. And being uncomfortably close to her child, to her son. That relationship is also weird and bizarre and like a little uncomfortable. If you really truly think about it, Chanel doesn't have a true sense of self. And her whole like, I'm the baddest, I'm amazing, I'm the best, it falls completely flat because it's not authentic. It's fronting. Or coping. That's a better word for it, we're saying. It's a coping mechanism because it's not rooted in authenticity, right? She doesn't really have a sense of self. You know, showing up in gowns everywhere doesn't mean you know who you are. It doesn't mean you love yourself. It doesn't mean you're healed. It just means you got lent a really pretty dress. You see what I'm saying? So what triggered Chanel was when Caroline was just talking about, oh, you know, or no, not actually. Actually, what I think triggered Chanel, and she put it towards Caroline, but I think it was, who was saying it? Was it what's her name? Sarah. What I actually think triggered Chanel was when Sarah was saying to Brooks, you don't need a man to support you. You don't need a man. You can do it on your own. You have your own money, because Sarah was just like, it's really sketchy that you're talking about all the trauma you have with your ex-husband, how you haven't had the time to heal. Yeah, you're going in business with him. Yeah, you're going to business with the guy who cheated on you, right? So I think that is what actually hit a nerve in Chanel. And she kind of like went blank and went kind of like saw red and went psycho and projected it onto Caroline, because Caroline was actually saying, no, like, look, if your ex-husband and your ex-boyfriend want to invest in what you're doing, like, let them invest. Like, there's no problem. Like, why not? Like, get it where you can, get in where you fit in. You know, Caroline was like that. But Sarah was really the one that was saying, like, you don't need a man, you can do it on your own. And I think that Chanel got triggered by that, even though she projected it onto Caroline, because Chanel has no sense of worth, value, and identity outside of her husband and her child and Lisa. So I think that's why she got so defensive and started spiraling. Like, I have a business. I'm a businesswoman. I make this money. I can sell anything. I'm more successful than you are. I blah, 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 all this weird wackadoodle stuff, right? And just went totally nuts, like completely shut down, wasn't actually listening to the conversation because she went into defense mode, defending her sense of worth and her sense of value, right? Because I'm going to be honest with you. What business does oh, it's the modeling business that Chanel has, right? But does her husband, is it like a Lisa situation where your husband subsidizes your business, right? Like Lisa basically has her dress business, has her fashion business that her husband pays for. You know, I'm not knocking it. I think it's great. I think it's great. If your partner is in the position to give you the money to fund your business, 100%. But I think maybe that's a situation that's going on with Chanel. Maybe her modeling company is funded by her husband. So maybe she doesn't actually feel like it's her own. Maybe she doesn't actually feel like she's adding value. But she was so triggered because she doesn't know her own value within herself as who she is. And that's why she went into defense mode, trying to talk about all these businesses and being a boss babe and all this weird stuff and who's more successful than the other person, because she actually is trying to validate her own value to herself because she does not believe she's valuable. She does not believe she's worthy, and she has no sense of self outside of other people. Hey, Miss T, Lisa and Chanel are not real friends. I just don't get that vibe. Ooh, you saying they're not really friends? Oh, wow. But you see, I think Chanel thinks they are. You know what I mean? I think Chanel might think they are, but Lisa might be more strategic when it comes to that type of stuff. Miss T, I really like Ladies of London. Me too. The show crumbled where Caroline left. Exactly. I love that show, and it did crumble when she left. Hey, Randa. Yes, Caroline Stanbury is supposed to be the anchor, but it hasn't turned out that way. Exactly. I didn't care for her on Ladies of London either. See, I liked her on Ladies of London, but you're right. It didn't pan out with Dubai like that, the way they had it planned. But she was supposed to be the anchor. Hey, Miss D. Nina also plays Beta to Rachel. Who's Rachel? Who's Rachel? Who's Rachel? Brooks is now trying to get friendly with Caroline. Caroline, yes, 100%. That's the whole thing. The teams, you know, I hate to pin women against each other, but it's just a reality show. We can have a good kiki about it. The teams truly is Chanel and Lisa, and then the rest of the ladies. Brooks is not on Lisa and Chanel's team. Brooks is on Carolyn, Nina, and Sarah's team. That's why they were doing their whole like Sex in the City stuff and all of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. But I don't think that the ladies genuinely like Brooks. I don't know if that makes sense. Randa says, who is Rachel? I said that too. Who is Rachel? Randa, I think it's a combination of a language barrier and the fact that she is always on the defense with Stanbury. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Lisa and Chanel both said they have Brooks. They said that they saved Brooks' job. Yeah, they said that they saved her from being demoted. They're like, oh, we invited her to Chanel's fashion show. She was going to be demoted, but we saved her. Maybe talk to the producers. Do I think that's true? Do we think Lisa and Chanel have enough power at Bravo to determine who gets demoted and who gets a full-time status? Do we think Lisa and Chanel have that much power? That's, you know what I mean? That's the question. My gut says no. My gut says, did they maybe try and create a narrative with her? Did they invite her to things? Were they positive about her and the whole situation? Sure. But do I think Lisa and Chanel have the power at Bravo to determine who stays and who goes and what status other housewives has? I'm not sure I'm buying that. You know what I mean? Hey, Randa, I see it differently. I'm a Black immigrant and such view a white person differently until I came to the States. Blacks in other countries don't view white people the same way. Oh, you mean when I said white savior with Chanel? The only reason why I say that is because, not because they're an interracial couple. I don't care about that at all. Who cares? You could be purple and blue in day. I don't care. The only reason why I say that is because of the way and the energy that Chanel tells their story. the angle and the perspective and the word she uses tells it in that way. You could have the same circumstances, but the way in which you tell those circumstances conveys a certain type of energy and vibe. And it's not so much what happened, it's how Chanel tells it. Like, oh, and like the energy she gives, it's the way she tells the story that gives white savior complex. I did not know how to love until he saved me. He bought me for $1,000. I was supposed to be with my cousin. And I get culture. I'm by no means trying to demean anybody's culture or anybody's customs, but it's the way she tells it. Not so much the culture, not so much the customs. It's the way she tells the story that gives those vibes. Because it's not so much, I think, about her. I don't think it's so much about her culture. I don't think it's so much about her being an immigrant or any of those things. I think it's more about her trauma and the way she views herself. And that's the perspective that she tells her story. So that's sort of why I see it like that. Not so much because it's white and black or immigrants or all of that stuff. It's because she tells her story from the perspective of her own trauma. I think a white person could tell that story. I think a black person, whatever person could tell that story. And if you're telling it from your unhealed trauma, it comes across differently, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's so much about culture. It's about the way she tells the story. Hey, Miss T, I thought Chanel was just modeling. Well, remember when Lisa was having her fashion show and they had the casting calls for the models? Wasn't that Chanel's modeling agency? Wasn't she saying like, because she made the comment like, oh, I want you to book, you said 10 girls, but you need 20 because I want to make more money. And it was like this whole joke. Because I think that wasn't Lisa, maybe it's just a storyline. I don't know. But from what I perceived it to be, and check me because I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. I could misinterpret it. But I thought that they were doing the model search and fitting, that Chanel was providing the models for her agency for Lisa's fashion show. So I thought that was her business, the modeling agency. Whoop. Okay, you guys. That was my timer. Miranda says she also has some sort of makeup. She does a lot of endorsements. Oh, so is she a 50-year-old influencer too? And that's no shade. That's what's his face said about Caroline Stanbury. I forgot who said it. Oh, Lisa's husband was trying to shade Caroline Stanbury and said that she was a 50-year-old influencer, which I thought was kind of shady. Because you're influencing your wife's company. It's not like your wife went out and got actual investors. And this is no tea, no shade, because trust me, if I was doing something and my partner had millions of dollars to pour into my business, you better believe my partner is going to pour millions of dollars into my business. So I'm not shading, I'm not hating, I'm not doing any of that because I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I think if your partner can, they should. However, don't front. Don't front like you're like Joe Schmo out there who went and had to pitch your business and grind to get investors in your business. You literally sleep next to the person paying for your business every single night. You have their children. You are their wife. So don't act like your business hustle is the same as somebody else's business hustle. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's not better. I'm just saying it is what it is. There is a fundamental difference. I don't care if your husband is paying for your business versus you going out there and busting your butt and getting actual investors that you had to actually convince to invest in your company. And I'm not knocking it at all. If my partner was like that, trust me, they'd be doing it too. You see what I'm saying? But like, don't front like that. Misty, Caroline's business was also paid for by her ex-husband, and that's why it had to close, and that's why Caroline doesn't see anything wrong with spending a man's money on her own dream. Exactly. She had gift library, 100%. Hey, Misty, sorry, it's Sarah, not Rachel. Yeah, she does play beta to Sarah, too. She does. Hey, Darren Hood, absolutely not. Hey, Randa, I would be inclined to believe it because they are the breakout stars. Yep. 100%. Famous T, Chanel does not spin it as a true love story. Exactly! Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't come across as like, it comes across as white savior to me. The way she talks about it. He came and he saved me and he bought me for $1,000 and my family only had goats. Like it was just, and I'm not, and again, I'm 100% not knocking any culture. It's the way she tells the story that I'm talking about. Hey, Randa. She goes, yes, I understand your point about the way Chanel tells the story. Exactly. But again, language barrier. That's true. That is true. That's fair. This is the same person who went to the bank and said, give me my money verbatim. That is fair. That is fair. And that is true. That is very fair and very true. So who knows? Who knows? Now, let me see what you guys are saying. Miranda said shady candy. I'm on one. Miss T, I think Chanel's husband would tell a much different story. Yes, exactly. Exactly. 100%. 100%. But the thing is, I would respect these women more if they were more transparent, right? Like, Brooks, where did you really get your money and how did you really get your money? Because I want to know. I want to know. I want to know, like, what's really going on? You know, what's really good? And Lisa, yes, you have your company and everything. That's great, but like, you literally just you're literally had your at-home office. You had your kids playing. You had your husband come in. You had a little fake little petty fight, and then he wrote you a check. Period. Dot. Exactly. Exactly. Like, come on, people. Like, come on. Carolyn Stansberry husband was backing her ex-husband rather, because Sergio doesn't have any money. We all know that. Sergio's broke as a joke. All the money they're spending is Carolyn money and her endorsement deals. Sergio doesn't have any money. That's why his father was like, do you need money? We will give you money. You don't have to marry her for money. Come on. Let's be serious here. And because, you know, I actually respect Nina. I respect Nina because Nina was being way more honest. She was just like, you know, I failed. She was just like, I started these businesses. Me and my husband, you know, started in like a studio apartment. We went bankrupt twice. You know, like she's like, to me, not that I ever want, not that I take pleasure in other people not doing well. That's not what I mean. I mean, it gives everybody hope. It gives everybody, you know, aspiration. Like, oh, okay, like, you know, her and her husband started with nothing together. And now they built this. You know, they've been grinding and they went bankrupt, but they started again. They went bankrupt another time and they still kept going. You know, like that's the stories I like. And then I'm like, now look at their life, look at their homes, and look at their cars, and look what they have. I love those stories because those stories I believe, and those stories are inspiring. Where you're like, you know what? I had a dream for my life and I kept trying and I failed. And then I kept trying and then I failed again. And then I kept trying and I failed again and I got up again and now look at me. So that's the type of story that I believe and inspires me. Brooks doesn't add up. Brooks to me story, it's too many bows. Single mom, bow, bad husband, bow. Like it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. Someone is saying that Sarah comes from a very wealthy Arabic family. That's how she got the degree. Oh yeah, and it was like a what do you call it? Like a what type of degree is it called? It's like a honorary degree or something like that, right? Hey, Randa, what do you think of the Jen convo and Lisa's story about her brother cousin? Oh, I will tell you. You guys, hold on. I have to go check. I have a lasagna in the oven. 1 second. You guys stay with me, candy canes. I will be back in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Woo. Okay, and we're back. Thank you for staying with me. Okay. There's a nice lasagna. I can't wait for it. Okay. So what do you think of the Jin convo and Lisa's story about okay. Girl. I believe everything Lisa said. I do. Because I'm a believer. I believe in spirits. I believe in all of it. I think it's real. I think there's angels. I think there's demons. I think there's spirits. I think it's all of that stuff. That's why I don't mess with any of it, because I really do think it's real. And I don't want any entity, like right now, any entity, spirit, jinn, whatever the F out there, you have no power here. You have no dominion here. Holy Spirit, plead the blood of Jesus Christ. Because I do think for everything, there's an equal and opposite, right? So if there's good, there's bad. If you know what I mean? I believe it. And I believe her story. I believe her story. I do think sometimes we get, I don't, because I don't invite it. But I do think that some people, not all the time, but maybe in certain, like I think Lisa's was situational, given the trauma of how her brother cousin died, and her connection to him. So I believe it. I do think sometimes energies and spirits can talk to you from beyond and all that stuff. I believe it. I believed her story. I want her to do a true crime podcast about her brother cousin, because I love a good true crime podcast. I believe it. And I do think that some people really are touched, where they really can communicate. But I don't mess with that either, because what are you communicating with? No. Because I believe. That's why I don't mess with it, because it's not welcome here. But the story was really sad, and it was really touching. And what really broke my heart more than anything was when Lisa was in the confessional and she was like, yeah, I'm scared to love that much again, because like, what if somebody else leaves and I get that sad again? Like that was like really sad and like super heartbreaking, right? But I believe her story. I think her brother cousin or something, because there's also familiar spirits out there that they may not actually be your departed person, but they appear to be. That's why I don't mess with it. That's why miss me with that stuff. No psychics, no mediums, no seances. No, thank you. I don't even do tarot. Miss me with that stuff. I do think something was visiting her brother, the spirit of her brother cousin, a familiar spirit of her brother cousin, something, the Holy Spirit, God, her imagination, signs, the universe, I don't know. But the fact that she said she solved his murder while she was in Dubai, and the person that they caught ultimately went from Georgia to Buffalo, New York, like if those are the facts, those are the facts. So, you know what I mean? I believe Lisa, though. I think she's telling the truth. I think she's 100% telling the truth. Hey, Miss T, Nina did not tell her story correctly either. Her husband was flying back and forth to visit her in America, coming from Dubai every weekend. He had money. What? Miss T with the T. So Nina was also pulling a Brooks. Woe is me. We were so destitute, got ourselves from the bootstraps. Nina! See, now I'm pissed. See? I was rooting for you. Because, see, that's the thing. It's like, regardless of what your situation is, as long as you are being honest and transparent about it, we can find something to respect about it. But when you're fronting and lying and trying to create a narrative that doesn't jive, or now we find out is fraudulent, then we're looking at you sideways. See, I don't understand. Like, if you're going to go on a reality show, get your stuff together, people. Hey, Randa, yes, you're right about the whole and Nina's story about him flying in to see her often and was broke. Wow. Hey, Randa, I don't mess with it either. I'm from Jamaica, where it's very common. It does exist, so I don't invite it into my life. I'm the same. Nope. I don't invite it in my life, because I do believe it's real. I believe that it exists. I don't invite it in my life. It's just me, God, and the Holy Spirit. That's enough. That's enough. We don't need any other entity, We don't need any other, we don't need, nope, 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 nope. Hey, Randa. Yeah, she said she's afraid to be truly happy in case something will happen. Very sad way to live. It is a sad way to live. That's a trauma response. Now, does Lisa need to go to therapy too? Lisa and Chanel, not together. Please, no codependent therapy on the show. Hey, Randa, if we talk long enough, we eventually tell on ourselves. Exactly. Because you always have to remember the lie. And every time you have to repeat something that's a lie, it changes a little bit. And so it always comes out. Hey, Miss T, Lisa needs to work through because I don't want her to feel scared. Such a lovely family to love. That is the truth. Lisa, I mean, I'm not going to knock that. Lisa has a beautiful family. And I know I was saying earlier her husband invests in her, which I think is great and amazing. I think everyone should, if their partner, man or woman, husband or wife, whatever you want to call it, is in a position to invest in you, they 100% should. Well, not should as in like they're obligated to, but it's a beautiful thing. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not knocking that, but I'm also like, don't front like you were out there, living, paycheck to paycheck until you got your big break. You know what I mean? Like, don't act like that. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying Lisa did, because I don't think Lisa did. Lisa never came across that way. Hey, Miranda, we all need therapy. Yes, the world needs therapy. We all need therapy. Yes, we do, 100%. Hey, Miss T, Nita can stay because she's a true rich housewife. Yes, Nita can stay. So word on the street that it's been green light for a second season, and all the ladies are coming back, and they might be adding some new blood. Maybe some more friends of, maybe some more full-time ladies, but it seems like they have a lot of full-time ladies. But they're going to add some fresh blood, but it is coming back, and I think all the women are returning. Hey, Miss T, Nina is a Cynthia of this franchise. Exactly. But we kind of need her because everybody else's personality is so on one. She kind of balances everything out, and she's a good connector between everybody. She's actually able to really get along with everyone and all of that stuff. So she's a good connector in that way. So we kind of need that type of personality, right? Yes. So what else? Anything else, you guys? Anything else we need to kiki about? We've been on here for over almost an hour, you guys. If you're having fun, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share this with a friend. That is the most beautiful thing you could do for me. Share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community, guys. You know it. You know it. Hey, Miss T, is Carolyn better to step it up? Can't wait to see her not have a baby next season. Miss T, you clowning. But I agree. Because the Sergio storyline is stale and played, and it's creepy and awkward. And the fact that he is seemingly crashing their party is disturbing. It's not entertaining. It's not cute. It's disturbing. And the whole Caroline and Sergio storyline is old and flat. And the whole they're having a baby storyline doesn't track. So I agree with you. She needs to step it up. She needs to step it up. Because right now, she's kind of the weakest link. I think Sarah's even more interesting. I like Sarah. I really like Sarah. I think Sarah's even more interesting than Caroline Stanbury at this point. And I loved Caroline Stanbury from Ladies of London. Hey, Miss T, what do you think about Sergio just popping up the next episode? I think it's bizarre. I think it's whack. I think it's weird. I think it's stalker vibes. I think it's red flags. I think we need an intervention. And I'm being dead serious about this. Like legitimately serious. I think I see legitimate scary red flags with Sergio. Like there's there's something missing. I said it before, it's giving me single white female vibes. To me, I think he on a psychological level, and I'm not being shady, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm being dead serious. I think on a psychological level, he wants to be Caroline. And the whole attachment, this whole codependency, this whole control, and it's also control. It's also control. Having the baby when she's like pushing 50 or 45, and I'm not age shaming by any means, but she's like 45. She's the 45 to 50 age range. They already know that the doctor told her when she had her last child or her last twins, I think it was, that it was very dangerous to her actual physical life to carry another child. And yet you're trying to push this. It's a way to control and manipulate. And him always being with her is control and manipulation as well. And I'm being dead serious when I say this. These are actual red flags. These are actual indications of an unhealthy relationship. It's not cute. It's scary. It's scary. And a lot of times people will misconstrue, oh, my partner gives me a lot of attention. Oh, they just love me so much. They always want to know where I am. They always want to be with me. They always want to be around me. They just love me so much. Oh, they're pouring me love. No, that's love bombing, and that's control, and that's manipulation, and that's coercion. What about the boundaries? It was extremely clear that Caroline did not want him to come, and for him to show up, that is a huge violation of personal boundaries and space. Just because you're married to someone does not negate your individual personal boundaries that you have with yourself and with others, no matter who that person is. And I'm being dead serious. Sergio creeps me out. And what the girls are like laughing and keep like him being on Instagram and crying because she went on a weekend away with him. How sick is that? How sick is that? I'm serious. These are real red flags. There's a lot, and think about these housewives. Think about what happened with Taylor from Real Housewives of Orange County. What happened with her husband? He went off the deep end and, took himself out. There have been other reality shows where people have done, very violent and weird and crazy stuff and all of that stuff. Sergio to me is scary. It's scary. It's scary. And I mean that from like a legitimate standpoint. Like it's beyond a stunt. It's scary. Hey, Miss T, did you hear Sergio say he was saving himself for Prince Charming? Yes! Yes! I said that on our last recap. That's why I was like, the producers were shady as hell for keeping that in there. He said he was saving himself for Prince Charming. And then he said, well, wait, no. I mean, what's the girl version? And they were like, princess? How do you not know if you know what a Prince Charming is, how do you not know what a princess is? That's like saying, I know ketchup, but not mustard. I know king, but not queen. You know what I'm saying? Like, boy, bye. And I'm telling you, I think it's a psychological thing. Deep in his psyche, I think if he could live his true identity, it would be like a Caroline. I don't think his obsession is romantic. I think his obsession is identity. And it's scary. It's scary. Hey, Randa, Lisa is not exactly poverty-stricken. She came from an upper-middle-class family in Jamaica, and she was also Miss Jamaica. No, I'm not saying Lisa's poverty-stricken at all. No, she doesn't come across that way. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that your husband is the one funding your business. That's what I'm saying. It's just a different situation, and that's what I'm saying. That's actually a really good point, because I think that when Lisa tells the story about how her husband funds her business, I don't get white savior vibes at all. At all. At all. I actually think their relationship to me seems really healthy. They seem really happy. They seem super in love. It seems very balanced. So I feel like she has a great relationship with her husband. I actually think Chanel has a great relationship with her husband. I'm just talking about the way they tell their stories, right? Like, Lisa does not give off white savior vibes in the slightest, or poverty sticker or anything like that. But it's a different journey of being your own boss babe or being your own business person when you have funding from your husband versus actually having to go out and get your own funding. Same thing if your parents give you seed money. Like what's her name? Like Kylie. When they were playing in her face, calling her self-made. Don't play in our face like that. Kylie is not self-made. Same thing. When your family gives you all of this money to start your business, that's not self-made. You didn't go out and bootstrap it. You didn't go out and pitch. You didn't go out and find a way. Your way was given to you. And again, I'm not taking away from anybody's business or anybody's whatever they have. I'm not taking away from Kylie. I'm not taking away from Elisa. I'm just saying it's a very different journey when anyone gives it to you in that particular way versus you going out and actually having to fight for it. It's a very different thing. Hey, Miss T, I hope the wings get better next season. Brooks, I'm definitely looking at you. Oh, the wigs. Oh, no, you did not. Hey, Ashley, even the wedding was his. Thank you. Thank you. Even the wedding was his. 100%. Wait, you guys, hang on. I have to go turn off the oven now. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. Hang out with me. 2 shakes. And we're back. And we're back. Yeah, the wedding was his. She said she didn't even want to get married. What's that about, Caroline? You didn't even want to get married? And he forced you into marriage? Because that was the easiest way for him to try and be like you. Hey, Randa. Sergio is just looking for a come up. As soon as he gets some fame, he'll jump ship. I'm not going to say what came to my mind. I'm not going to say what came to my mind. Let me keep it cute. Let me keep it cute with my candy canes. I agree with you, Randa, 1,000%. I agree with you, Randa, 1,000%. Hey, Miss T, which is where Sergio Diana's child groom on BH. Honestly, Diana's. And I'll tell you why. One, because of Diana's alleged ties to child trafficking and basically being a pimp, supplying children, young girls, young men, for other people, for wealthy people to have their way with and do whatever, and then give her money. I'm not going to call her a madame. No, Diana, you're a pimp. That's what you are. Not even beyond a pimp, because I don't even think you probably paid these people. You're a human trafficker, allegedly. So I would say Diana. And also Diana with Asher, because it seems like Carolyn Stanberry is actually trying to set some boundaries and is actually trying to get a healthy. She's like, no, like, I'm going away. It's just the girls. You can't come. Like, she's actually trying to set some boundaries with him. She's trying to, have him cut the cord. Like, to me, she realizes, like, hey, this is a lot. Like, it's very suffocating, and maybe this isn't healthy, and maybe we need some time apart, and, like, maybe we need to set some boundaries. Whereas Diana literally called him a child and would seem like she got off on it. Oh, he is, like, so sheltered from the world, and he is so blah, blah, blah. He's like a child. What adult ever would say in the same sentence in a reference to the person that they're sleeping with as a child? Because don't get it twisted, it's not just men that like young children. Women also can be the P word. And by the P word, I'm not going to say it on my channel, but are adult people who like to prey on young children. You guys can look that up. You know what the P word is. Women can be the P word too. So for Diana, with all of her alleged history of child trafficking and being a pimp and all of that stuff, calling her child groom a child, that tells you what it is right there. Because people underestimate women, but women can have that same type of dysfunction. Hey, Randa and Miss T, they are the same person. Hey, Miss T, I think Caroline gets annoyed with him a lot off camera. Yeah. Yep. I would agree with that. I bet you. Yep. Miss T says facts. Randa says Freudian slip. Exactly. It's like we were saying, people always tell on themselves. Always. That's why, and they get up on these shows trying to play in our face. Like, come on, guys. Miss T, so they are truly best friends. Hey, Randa. She goes, got what you're saying about Lisa. Yeah. Yeah, like Lisa doesn't give any type of those vibes off. You know what I mean? Hey, Miss T, the argument Lisa had with her husband about the money was produced. Girl, it was so produced. It was scripted, it was rehearsed, it was produced, and the acting was not good. But one thing is, I think Lisa's husband is fine. Fine. I think he's hot. I think he's really nice. And if he's willing to fund people's dreams, like give a girl a call. I'm not Brooks. I'm not sleeping with anybody's married husband. So I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to Lisa or to Lisa's marriage. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for small businesses to invest in, give your girl a call, okay? Give your girl a call. That is so funny. Hey, Miss T, Whitney Rose took money from her husband for that skincare launch. Exactly. Exactly. And the saddest part with that, it was like she took like their family money, like the retirement money. And it wasn't her skincare launch like a big flop. Like these people out here, Rhonda, I think Whitney used their savings exactly. Yeah, it was supposed to be their like retirement money. That's really scary. Hey, Miss T, I demand to see this beautiful lasagna. Woohoo! Hey, Miss T, I hope Caroline has a prenup. I hope so too. I hope so too. Or she's gonna be like, you know, Britney Spears with Caroline Federline. Because that's another thing. It's not just women who want to secure the bag. It's 2022, baby. Men are out here securing the bag. Men are out here being Kevin Federlines. Oh, that woman's really rich. Let me knock her up. And so we have a kid, and now I get child support for the next 18 years. Look at Kevin Federline. He was getting at least $20K a month from Britney. At least. You think Kevin Federline has a job? Come on. Martell Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Wasn't he trying to get full custody so he could see Melody's finances? He doesn't want full custody because he wants to take care of those kids. He wants full custody to see what her money situation is, to see if he can get a check. So these men out here are securing the bag. Like Sergio plays dumb, but he's been able to get her to marry him. He's been able to get on the show. He's basically a full-time, what do they hold in Dubai? Whatever they hold, he's a full-time Dubai holder. They might as well have him in the opening credits. You know what I mean? So Sergio plays stupid, but he has a lot of strategy. A lot of these scammers do. A lot of these weirdo scammers have a lot of strategy. Love bomb, love bomb, love bomb. To make someone think that's love. But if you actually love someone and they tell you, I'm going away with my friends, it's just an all girls or an all guys trip, and you still come, that's not love. That's control. That's manipulation. That's putting your needs above theirs to the detriment of their own needs. That's being selfish. That's the true definition of being selfish. Putting your needs above somebody else's is not selfish. It's self-love. Putting your need above somebody else's to the actual detriment of that person, not just like, oh, they're going to be like a little annoyed or, you know, like they're not going to whatever, but to the actual detriment of that person, that is being selfish. And by detriment, I mean disrespecting their boundaries, which is what Sergio has done to Caroline. Hurting them, whether it's spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever, to the actual detriment of somebody else. Not just they're annoyed or something like that, you know, like if someone's like, oh, can I borrow this? And you're like, no, and it kind of like annoys them. That's not being selfish. That's you holding your boundary. But this is something totally different. Hey, Miss T, somebody asked Lisa about those receipts. Ooh, I want to see them too. Hey, Randa, I know exactly what you're going to say. I kept it cute too. That's why I said jump ship instead of we see each other. We see each other because I was like, exactly. Hey, Miss T, Diana said she loves babies. I think she likes being needed. Diana's a mess. She needs to go to jail. just to slip at Diana. Yeah. Diana needs to go to jail, in my personal opinion, for everything that she's allegedly done under the jail. Hey, Miss T, Brooks knows some investors. Nah. I'm just gonna have to keep bootstrapping it. Over here at the House of Candy, I'm just gonna have to keep bootstrapping it over here for now. For now, at least. We'll see. Miss T, Wendy used Eddie's money to start the candle line. True, exactly. Randa, Lisa's husband has a brother or a friend asking for a friend. Girl, I'm asking for myself. Yes, Randa, yes. Exactly. Hey, Miss T, Kevin leaked those tapes. I know, dirty. Like, and what is his end game? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, why is he doing this now? Does he think it has to be some type of money grab? There has to be some type of angle where he's doing this, where he thinks he can somehow get more money out of Britney. I can't see it yet, but I bet you somehow, some way, it's going to come out. This is some type of money grab for Kevin Federline, because he was also in cahoots with Britney's father and mom and all of the people who were controlling her money. He was right up in cahoots with them. So maybe this is just some scheme that they're putting together to get their hands back on Britney's money some type of way. Maybe they want to get the conservatorship back, you know, saying she's unfit, this, that, and the third. Who knows? But to me, it seems like a money grab. And why now? Doesn't make any sense. Hey, Miss T, Martell loved kids. Sand, they hold sand or gold. Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Well, he's a full-time gold holder, sand holder. Full-time. Hey, Big T, Brooke's mother didn't believe what she was saying either. It was with these produced, scripted scenes with people who are not here for the shits. Like Jen Shaw and her mother, with that fake scene where the mom was pretending to give her $1 million of her retirement fund, which was clearly just $1 million of Jen's own money that she didn't want to have on camera, that it was her money, because she didn't want to have to explain to the feds and to the IRS how she had all this extra cash. So she just pretended it was the mom's money, when we all know that was her money. The mom did not give Jen $1 million. Come on now. Hey, Miss T, I bet production told Sergio to come down to the trip. That is true. But even if they did, he should have respected his wife's wishes instead of being thirsty. Hey, Miss T, it was Caroline selfish to want to sit with her friends and not her family. I think in that situation, I think Caroline was in her feelings. Because I think the reason why Caroline didn't want to sit with her family or Sergio's family was because her feelings were hurt that Sergio's parents said, and I got linked to some like media outlet, had said, oh, you know, are you that hung up for money? You don't need to marry this older woman, because I'm not age shaming. But basically they were saying, well, like, Sergio, like, you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing? Like, this woman's like 45, divorced, 3 kids, whatever it is. You don't have to do this if you're marrying for money. We will give you money. And then also Caroline has always had a very, at least she says, and I'm going to take her word for it, a very strained relationship with her parents, because she basically said from the age of like 6 to 18, she was shipped off to boarding school and would only come back to her family once or twice a year for like the holidays, summers, whatever. And she was very angry at her family for that. She did not like boarding school. She felt her family sort of like ditched her there. So she's had her own issues with her parents. And she's like, you know, I already had my big wedding where I sat with my family and the grooms, and it was all about that. So I think Caroline was in her feelings about everything. Do I think she could have found a compromise? Yes. Do I think she was being selfish? No. Given the history, I think she could have compromised. I think the compromise could have been, all right, we're going to sit with the family at the wedding, but I'm going to sit for a couple of minutes and then I'm going to bounce. I'm going to bounce from table to table, right? I'm going to, you know what people like at a wedding, I'm going to sit. We're going to keep it cute and respectful, but I'm not sitting with these people all night. I'm not going to sit up here the whole time. I'm going to sit up here. We're going to keep it cute, whatever. And then I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I'm going to go sit over here. I'm going to do this for the rest of the night. But I kept it cute. I kept it classy. I kept it respectful. She could have compromised on it. But inherently, do I think she's being selfish? No. Because again, sometimes taking care of yourself, it's going to piss some people off. Taking care of yourself might hurt some people's feelings. But you have to care more about how you feel and your own well-being, but not to the actual detriment of other people. And there's a difference between sometimes you gotta hurt some people's feelings, sometimes people are gonna be pissed off, but it's not to their detriment, right? Hey, Miss T, I hope Teresa got a prenup. I don't think she did. Do you think they're really married? Because sometimes these Bravo weddings, they're just for the cameras, but they haven't signed any documents. There hasn't been any of that. But then giving Louis, I think Louis is so strategic. They probably really are. I don't know if she got a prenup or not. If she didn't, shame on her. Like at some point, girl, you got to start taking ownership for yourself and what you're doing. Hey, Miss T, those boys are about to be of age. Kevin is seeing the end. Exactly. It's a money grab. He's trying to figure out how to get money out of her. Miss T, Brooke's friends should have gotten her together. I don't care about the scene. I agree. I don't speak to anyone that way, let alone somebody I call my friend. Miss T, where did Sergio get the money for that necklace? Bloop. We'll wait, Serge. We'll wait, Sergio. Woo. This lighting's all whatever. Okay. Hey, Miss T. Caroline tried to give Brooks good advice. Brooks act like she doesn't have any help with that sweet boy. Exactly. Brooks, girl, bye. Like, you had your help from the parents. I don't believe you when you say the ex-husband wasn't there. I think he was there. Just because you got divorced doesn't mean you're a single parent. It means you're co-parenting. I don't believe you. I think your husband was there. Your ex-husband was there. I think he has given you financial help, and I think he has been for the kid. Maybe not the way you want, but you don't get to dictate that because that's also his child too. And she has nannies. She has help. She has all of that. So, girl. Hey, Miss T, what was the real reason Caroline made the comments about Lisa to Sergio? Oh, about the S and the D comment at that party where she was just like, well, is she gonna S or D tonight? The reason why I think Caroline said that is because, again, like a lot of these women, I think she does have her own insecurities, and I think she does have her own moments of low self-esteem. And I think in that moment, Caroline kind of felt like high school, right? Where she kind of felt like, these girls, sorry. Where she kind of felt like, these girls don't like me. And it's kind of like me against them. And now we're at a party. And now my husband, fiance, whatever, is now having a kiki with them. Like, fine, you go over there on their team. You go on there with them. Like, it's not like she's going to S your D tonight. Like if you want to be on their side, if you want to abandon me, if you want to hang out with them, you go ahead. Have her suck your S your, you know what I mean? Whatever she said. That's what I think she said that because in her mind, it was very high school, like us versus them. Even if it was like a friend or it's just like you show up at a party with your friend and then your friend is going and having a kiki with the two women who don't like you. You're like, why are you talking to my enemies? I think that's really where it came from. Hey, Miss T, the ex-husband even said he talks to the son. Yeah, the ex-husband, he talks to the son. And even in the scene, they were getting coffee and chatting, and she even said, "Oh, at the next PTA meeting, I talked to the teacher, blah 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 blah." You're co-parenting, babe. You're talking about PTA meetings. You're co-parenting, babe. And it was clear he's been in the son's life, not like randomly all of a sudden now he's popped up. It's clear he's been in the son's life. Hey, Miss T, Lisa could have stepped in at the dinner table and helped Chanel calm down and listen. She didn't really care. Lisa is giving me Lisa vibes. What I mean by that is Lisa cares about Lisa, and Lisa's going to do what is in Lisa's best interest and whatever. And I think that Lisa also kind of knows that she can not manipulate Chanel, but that Chanel will always be on her side, right? That she kind of always has Chanel in her corner, and she doesn't have to actually sort of really reciprocate that, if that makes sense. Miss T says, Dubai gets heavy edits. I wonder if we're missing something important. Probably. Because a lot of their stories are not making sense. A lot of their math is not mathing. Brooks, obviously, but the other girls too. A lot of their stuff is not adding up. A lot of their stories are not adding up. So I agree. I think that there are big missing pieces. Caroline and Sergio, fraud, like, what is that about? Sarah's degree and all that stuff. What is that about? Nina pretending to be broke when her husband had money the whole time. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of missing pieces. Lisa doesn't think Chanel's on her level. Exactly. 100%. Lisa thinks she's the beta. Lisa thinks she's the alpha, and that Chanel is beneath her as the beta. Very Giselle Robin. Very, very Giselle Robin. Whew. All right, you guys, it's getting dark over here. I'm working up a sweat because I don't want to have the AC running and messing up the audio. And my lasagna's waiting for me. So we are gonna wrap it up. But this was so much fun, my beautiful candy canes. I love you guys so much. If you've had a fun Kiki, you know what to do. You know to like the video. You know to comment below. You know to share. And you know to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can come and have a fun Kiki. And again, as always, just for fun, just lighthearted. Everything's alleged, and we're just having a good time. So with that, my beautiful candy canes, I love you so much. And yeah, tomorrow, let's do some hot topics, right? I think tomorrow could be a good hot topics day. So I love you guys. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I love you. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go.